You may remember from a couple of weeks ago, I did a Context and Craft episode about Brian De Palma's previously lost first film, Murder a la Mode. This week, I want to talk about another not so talked about Brian De Palma film, being home movies. Home movies was a task De Palma gave to his filmmaking students who he was teaching filmmaking at Sarah Lawrence College in Bronxville, New York. Believing that 99% of film students don't end up anywhere after graduating, De Palma created this film in order for students to get some hands-on filmmaking experience and to get a credit in a real feature film. The task was to budget, finance, shoot, and edit the film, with De Palma overseeing the project. However, according to De Palma, the students were responsible for only 5% of the shots within the finished film, and that the budget went from an initial $50,000 and ended up at under $1 million. Home Movies is a 1979 comedy most similar in spirit to De Palma's Get to Know Your Rabbit from 1972. Home Movies is apparently an autobiographical story about an oddball egoistic family consisting of a father, Dr. Bird, played by Vincent Gardenia, who is a surgeon and serial philanderer.
Hold it! Hey man, freeze! Everybody freeze!
The mother, Mrs. Bird, played by Mary Davenport, who is a depressed wife who is obsessed with her husband's infidelities. Then there's the brother, James Bird, played by De Palma veteran and friend Garrett Graham, who is a self-absorbed cult leader. Then there's his fiancée, Christina, played by De Palma's then-wife Nancy Allen, who is a screwy, free-spirited girl. And then there's the younger brother, Dennis Bird, played by Keith Gordon, who is the facsimile of De Palma himself, who is a shy voyeur who is having a life crisis. All these characters are comic representations of De Palma's own family. The film is essentially about Kirk Douglas, who basically plays himself as the maestro, an acting teacher and life coach who tries to help Keith Gordon's character by making him create a 16mm movie in which Gordon has to be the star, essentially to be the star in his own life and not just an extra. The film is a fun, whimsical, and slapstick at times comedy with great and hilarious performances. It has a very original story, revolving around a film within a film, one of De Palma's specialities. It's also got De Palma's signature obsession, voyeurism, and lots of really random comedic moments that really make you laugh. Garrett Graham gives a typical hilarious performance as a psycho cult leader. Kirk Douglas, having just done De Palma's The Fury, also gives an unconventional comedic performance as a life coach and egoistic actor, popping up in random places to mentor Dennis. Nancy Allen particularly stands out in this picture due to her unexpected comedic performance. Although Allen had already done comedies, such as Zemeckis' I Want to Hold Your Hand and Spielberg's 1941, her home movies performance really stands out from these, particularly the evil rabbit scene. With Nancy Allen being a cinematic legend in her own right, it is absolutely hilarious, especially to a person watching home movies now, having seen Allen in stuff like Blowout or Dressed to Kill. The actress's unexpected buffoonery is a complete surprise and ends up being absolutely hilarious.
What are you crying about?
The randomness and silliness of the actress playing an evil bunny who had done a live sex act with Nancy Allen and treats her like a slave, and Nancy Allen completely submitting to this puppet and doing everything he says is absolutely hilarious.
Back to that life. I've changed. Changed from what? You're the same slut you always were. Now you get those clothes off and let's rehearse. Aren't you feeling well today, dear? Oh, I feel great. Just great. Where's the booze?
Later, this bunny takes control of the soul of another poor female victim.
What a cute little bunny. Thanks, kid. Hey, Toots, you want to be in showbiz? Sure. Great. Let's hit the road. Wait a minute.
This random unexpected silliness from a legendary actress reminded me of the performance of Henry Fonda in Preston Sturges's The Lady Eve. Being legend Henry Fonda's unexpected buffoonery, that is the number one thing that makes that picture hilarious. In all, Home Movies is a hilarious, part De Palma, part student film escapade that has an original structure and story, and great and unexpected performances. I recommend checking this film out. BlumenFalck Film Talk runs every Friday. Currently, we have this show of ours running called Context and Craft, where we review and analyze forgotten, obscure, rare, or even popular movies, but it's always something interesting. So subscribe to be notified when a new episode comes out. Thank you for watching, and see you next Friday.